Billy's curse is lifted in Hocus Pocus 2 after the Sanderson sisters' defeat, but it begs the question of why it didn't happen in the original. In this video, along with getting an answer to that question, we'll also discuss the original movie plot hole created by Hocus Pocus 2. Make sure you stick with me to the end so you don't miss any part of the gist. Without any further delay, let's get into it. Doug Jones, the new Billy Butcherson in Hocus Pocus 2. It was on September 30th when Disney released Hocus Pocus 2 through its Disney Plus platform. The film aims to become a new Halloween classic at the hands of the Sanderson sisters, played by Sarah Jessica Parker, Bette Midler, and Kathy Najimy. Broadly speaking, the new story arises after three teenagers mistakenly resurrect the Sandersons, putting many people in danger. Due to the above, the plot revolves around how to prevent them from causing problems and return them to their place. For that, a character that becomes key in this installment is Billy Butcherson, who will come out of his grave to be the worst nightmare of witches. His appearance will be even darker, with his mouth still cooked, but he will maintain the good intentions of the good zombie. In Hocus Pocus 2, when Billy Butcherson is finally freed from his curse, it leaves a plot hole for the first movie. Billy, who used to be Winifred Sanderson's lover, is one of the characters who comes back in Hocus Pocus 2, and he still hates witches. After being turned into a zombie hundreds of years ago, he is finally set free, but the complicated circumstances of the event make it hard to understand how magic works in the world of Hocus Pocus. Even though Hocus Pocus 2 takes place 30 years after the first one, the movie has flashbacks that show more about the Sanderson sisters and their magic in the past. Hannah Waddingham plays the witch mother in the movie. She is the one who gives the girls the famous spellbook. Most of the fear that the sisters cause in Salem and among its people, including Billy Butcherson, comes from the spellbook. The added background makes the Sanderson sisters in Hocus Pocus seem less evil than they did in the first movie. When the witches are defeated in Hocus Pocus, their curses are broken. Thackeray Binks is no longer cursed to be a cat. Billy Butcherson, on the other hand, does not do this. Instead, he goes back to his grave to sleep. Billy was really awake the whole time, as Hocus Pocus 2 shows. When the Magicae Maxima curse is broken at the end of the movie, and Winifred and her sisters turn back into dust, Billy is also freed from the curse they were under before. This makes a plot hole between the two movies because it doesn't explain why Thackeray was freed in the first movie, but Billy wasn't. Why Billy Butcherson's curse is broken in Hocus Pocus 2. Even though Hocus Pocus 2 ends the same way as the first movie, there are some key differences that may explain why Billy was set free this time. Billy's mouth was sewn shut, so he couldn't say what really happened between him and Winifred, which turned out to be just a kiss. In the second movie, he was finally able to tell everyone that he was in love with the oldest Sanderson sister. This may have let his soul rest. Notably, Thackeray was able to make up for not saving his sister by saving Danny, which let his soul rest as well. Billy was also a very important part of the Magicae Maxima spell, so when Becca broke the spell, it probably also hurt Billy. Hocus Pocus 2 ends with the Sanderson sisters seemingly gone for good, just like the first movie. The scene at the end of Hocus Pocus 2's credits shows another black flame candle, which could mean there will be a third movie. Since the Sanderson sisters aren't as bad as they used to be, they might come back in the next book to help the main characters. In other news, Dan Harmon thinks Donald Glover will return for a Community film. With the Community movie finally being greenlit, one question that's on every fan's mind is, will Troy Barnes return to everyone's favorite study group? While most of the show's original cast, except Yvette Nicole Brown and Chevy Chase, have been officially confirmed to return, fans are eagerly waiting to see if artist and rapper Donald Glover will return as well. The show's creator, Dan Harmon, revealed an encouraging update for fans following news that the Community movie was in the works. While nothing has been official, he's confident that Glover will return as Barnes for the next film. In an interview with Variety, Harmon emphasized that he thinks Glover will return to the role. It just hasn't been officially confirmed yet, so he thinks he's going to come back. He also thinks that if there are names missing from a list, it's because they have not sufficiently agreed to the agreements to be on the list. He added that there's nothing official about anyone being out. What works in Harmon's favor for a potential Troy Barnes reunion is that Glover's well-received sitcom Atlanta is also coming to an end. Once that's done, Glover's time should be open enough for him to return as Troy, though it depends on whether he's willing to do so. A common myth is that Glover left Community to focus on his rapping career as Childish Gambino when he has gone on record that he left because he was getting bored of the character. Harmon also did not comment on whether Brown or Chase would return for the film, although Brown expressed her interest in playing Shirley Bennett in the film. Fans should be encouraged by his return for more reasons than Harmon's confidence. Glover had recent interactions with the Community cast, as he was involved in the cast reading in 2020 when the pandemic was in full effect. Not only that, but Glover also took part in a full Q&A session with the Community cast afterward. He evidently still has a good relationship with his former co-stars and the show itself. Otherwise, he wouldn't have come back in the first place. Again, it all depends on whether he wants to play the character again, which is totally up to him. It goes without saying that if Glover reprises his role as Troy, the Community movie would greatly benefit from his return. Troy Barnes was really the glue that made Community the excellent show that it was when it was in its heyday. Community prided itself on being a layered spoof, and Glover played it masterfully as Barnes. Even though he was seen as a normal, goofy character, he had a strong sense of weirdness weirdness that helped him connect with everyone in the cast, particularly Abed, who was put to better use when his chemistry with Troy was shown. The movie could survive in terms of quality without Troy Barnes, just like the show did, but it's not hard to see why they would need him back. The Community film will be released as a Peacock exclusive. Wrapping it up, let's talk about the two actresses of the CW series who are very close friends in real life. Starting in 2001, the CW series Smallville told the story of Clark Kent in the years before he moved to Metropolis and formally became Superman. The series was developed by the team of Alfred Goff and Miles Miller, who recently worked together on the Netflix series Wednesday. Since the show focused on Clark's early years, his most famous partner, reporter Lois Lane, was not part of the Smallville cast from the start. Instead, Clark, played by Tom Welling, was often seen with his childhood friend Lana Lang, played by Kristen Crook. However, Season 4 sees Lois Lane coming to Smallville, initially to investigate her cousin's apparent death. The character was portrayed by Erica Durance, who was a recurring performer in the show's 4th season, before becoming a regular from Season 5 until the series ended with Season 10. With Kristen Crook and Erica Durance spending years working on the show together, many are no doubt wondering if the two became friends off the show and if that friendship lasted once Smallville came to an end. The actresses have remained friends since Smallville ended. At a New York Comic-Con Smallville reunion panel, the cast was asked when was the last time they had seen each other. Tom Welling reinforced that the duo remained friends and often spent time together, and Erica Durance noted that they are real friends. At the WonderCon convention, Crook also discussed the possibility of reuniting with Durance on screen. She mentioned that the two had discussed the show Crook was on at the time, the CW series Beauty and the Beast, and Crook and Durance were open to the idea of the latter appearing on the series, but that it would be a role and a story that suits both of them. However, Durance did not appear on the show or in Crook's subsequent series, the legal drama Burden of Truth. That concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. See you next time.